Chaumian eCash on Bitcoin and Lightning enables users to have near perfect privacy and send transactions instantly and with zero fees. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to use eNuts, a mobile application that can be set up, and also examine some of the trade-offs that come with using eCash. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, shout out to sponsors of the show, HodlHodl.com. If you're buying Bitcoin and you have a few priorities in mind, including peer-to-peer trading, instant self-custody, and no KYC, this is the place to be. You can sign up with just an email address, and once you're in, you simply choose a currency, payment method, and amount, and you'll be able to start viewing offers immediately and stacking non-KYC sets. They also have a peer-to-peer lending platform in which nothing is ever rehypothecated. Check them out today with the links in the show notes down below. Now, of course, when you do get your hands on Bitcoin, you're going to want to store it and secure it with some of the best hardware on the market. And CoinKite is absolutely killing it. Of course, the Cold Card Mark IV is my go-to hardware of choice. And I've got all their other goodies too. The tap signer, sats cards, block clocks, open dimes, and coming really soon, the Cold Card Q1. I've already reserved mine. If you want to do the same or pick up any of the other items that I've mentioned here, head over to coinkite.com and use code BTC Sessions for 5% off everything in the store. Now, backups are also a very important thing, and Seedor is one of the most robust and premium steel backup options on the market. I've done a full tutorial on it, but the long and the short of it is it's got a disc and capsule design and a stamp and mallet, and you go through, you stamp your seed into these discs and secure them with the capsule. It is secure against the elements, so fire, water, corrosion, all of that, and it is robust as hell. The starter set comes with everything you need to set up either 1 or 2 seeds depending on which version you get, and then if you want a new seed, you can simply grab new discs, which is a much cheaper option than throwing away a full steel plate. So be sure to check them out, seedor.io. There are links in the show notes depending on where you're ordering from so that you get the cheapest shipping possible. Now, in terms of moving beyond just single sig security and into multi-sig, nunchuck.io and their Honey Badger option has you covered. This is a collaborative custody solution where you can set up a multi-sig quorum on your phone. They will walk you through every single step, and you can use the hardware of your choice, tap signer, cold card, and a ton of other hardware options. Once it's set up, the whole thing has baked in inheritance planning, and on top of that, the whole thing is also non-KYC. So Nunchuck will hold a key for you, you hold the rest of the keys, and they become your signer of last resort. Love these guys. Check them out, nunchuck.io, and yeah, they've got a suite of tools that are just an absolute godsend to anybody that's looking to really up their game. And finally, shout out to Start9, your sovereign computing solution. What do these guys do? Well, you have easy plug and play options to run your whole Bitcoin stack. I'm talking Bitcoin Core, Lightning Node, mempool.space, join market, host your data like files, passwords, and photos, even Nostr relays and clients, all kinds of great stuff coming out from these guys. And it's nice and simplified and accessible in your browser from anywhere on the planet once you get the thing set up. So be sure to check them out. They've got devices anywhere from entry level all the way up to what I'm running, which is the Start9 Server Pure. Head over to start9.com. And with that, let's dive into the tutorial. So I want to start off the video here with some prerequisites. What are you going to need to know to efficiently navigate this tutorial? Well, the long and short of it is you should just be familiar with how to execute Lightning transactions, which is how we're going to both fund and withdraw from this eCash wallet. So if you are unfamiliar with that, I will have links in the show notes down below so that you can get yourself set up with your own Lightning wallet for the first time. Now, let's chat a little bit about eCash and eCash mints and what they even are. Now, this will come with the topic of benefits and trade-offs, but let's start with what is actually happening here when you send a Lightning transaction to this particular wallet. Well, you are basically stepping into a custodial relationship with the eCash wallet, or rather the mint that you've allocated your funds to, and we'll talk about what that is in a second. So know that there is that trade-off, and we'll talk about what you get in exchange for that trade-off and where this sits on the spectrum of fully custodial and non-private to totally sovereign and private. So you send a Lightning transaction to this particular wallet. What happens? Well, effectively, those funds are allocated to someone who is running a Lightning node on behalf of a number of people that are part of an eCash mint. So let's say 10 people have funded a particular mint using this wallet. Well, those 10 people, all of those funds are kind of together and pooled, and you are remunerated with something called an eCash token that represents every single sat that is present on that node that is allocated to the people therein. You can then transact these eCash tokens instantly and with zero fee between every single person that is part of that mint. And through that, you also get near perfect privacy in the mint. So you have instant transactions and privacy. And when I say near perfect privacy, we need to step back and look at the alternative that would also be custodial, which would be a basic custodial Lightning wallet. Well, some popular examples of that, including the one that we're going to use today to fund eCash or to fund eNuts, the wallet we're using. Blink, that is one of them, and that one I'll have a link in the description down below how to use it. But Blink, of course, is a custodial wallet. Another popular one would be Wallet of Satoshi. And so while these are great for simple onboarding and for, small amounts of transactions, obviously it's important to realize that there's the risk of getting rugged at any time. Somebody that's running those wallets, technically speaking, could abscond with all the funds therein. So it's important to know that and limit exposure by having small amounts of money if you decide to use those types of wallets, and also to maybe limit your time that you're using those and not just be consistently exposed. Now, eCash gives privacy that is greater than those options. And what do I mean there? Well, something like Wallet of Satoshi or Blink, the people running those wallets that are responsible for those funds, the custodians, they know how many people are currently using the wallet. They know exactly how much money each person has. They have to keep a ledger of who owns what within that ecosystem. And so while you may not have explicitly linked your identity to that wallet, although you may have either via phone number or via email address, that's a possibility. But if you haven't, there's still the issue of perhaps IP addresses and stuff like that. So it would be trivial perhaps to paint a picture of who owns what and perhaps who that person might be. With eCash, it is very, very different. And what I mean is the second that funds enter the eCash mint, those eCash tokens are not a ledger system. In fact, the person that's running the Lightning node in question and then running the eCash mint has no idea who owns what or what transactions exactly are happening and what's being, what's going where. On top of this, so effectively you can send peer-to-peer within that mint instantly, no fees, and very privately, so much so that the person running the mint doesn't know who you are, what you have, and who's transacting with whom. Furthermore, when you go to withdraw from an eCash mint via Lightning, you are also hiding within the crowd because nobody knows who is initiating that transaction. So let's do a hypothetical. Let's say there were 10 people in a mint over here, and there were 10 people in a mint over here. if somebody wanted to pay from mint to mint, then what it would actually look like is someone, no one knows who, initiates a transaction from this mint over to someone, no one knows who, within this other mint. So you have 10 people over here, 10 people over here. Nobody knows which of the 10 people has sent and which of the 10 people has received the transaction that went from mint to mint. So you can see very quickly how your privacy can be greatly improved by something like eCash mints. Of course, making note of the trade-offs. So we're going to go and we're going to dive into downloading eNuts, setting up your wallet, funding it, sending eCash transactions to and from, and then also withdrawing from said wallet via Lightning. Let's jump in. Okay, so first up, how are you going to actually get this app? At the time of recording this video, it is still in beta, which means that you're not just going to be able to search it up on the App Store. This may change in the future. Actually, it most certainly will change in the future. But if this is not the case when you go to find it, then you're going to go to the website enuts.cash, enuts.cash. And depending on what type of phone you are running, you're either going to do the Android APK file or you're going to do test flight, which will allow you to use the iOS App Store. So I'm on an Android phone here, so I'm going to download the APK. That will download the file to my computer, at which point it will give me the option to install it. For Apple, you're going to have to just follow the prompts once you hit test flight, but you can see I just downloaded. I'm going to hit open, and it'll say, do you want to open with the package installer? I'm going to say yes, go ahead, and I'm going to choose install. And this will install an app on my phone that is not from the App Store. So we're all good with that. I'm just going to hit done. And if I jump back to my screen here, you can see it pop up. Maybe I'll bring that over to my main screen over here. And I think we're good to go. So I've got a bunch of stuff here. You can see some of my other Lightning wallets and stuff that I have handy, but we're going to be using primarily eNuts. And then to fund it, we're going to use Blink just as an example. So let's dive in. Let's open it up. Okay, so you're going to be greeted with this intro screen and it'll say, hey, eNuts is a custodial Lightning wallet allowing private and instant transactions using the Cashew protocol. Your funds are held by mints you interact with, and eCash is stored locally on your device. That's an important note. We're going to hit next. Cashew and mints. Cashew is a new eCash protocol for custodial Bitcoin apps where mints are Lightning nodes performing Bitcoin transactions and offer you eCash. Rest assured, the mints remain unaware of your eCash payments. And finally, send and receive. Simply add a mint via URL and pay a Lightning invoice to get eCash. eNuts guides you, lets you receive from anyone instantly, and with your permission, automatically adds related mints. Swap funds between mints and send eCash once you have a balance. All right, we're going to hit the check mark to finish that. So you're going to set up a PIN to secure your app. I'm going to set up a simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll do that. We'll confirm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously, this is not my regular PIN I use, but there you go. So it says get started. You can either use a pre-existing eNuts mint or introduce another custom mint. For simplicity's sake, we're going to go with the eNuts mint. And then later on, after we finish all the basics around this, we'll look at what it looks like to add other mints. So we're going to just use the green button here. And there we go. Mint added. Do you want to receive eCash from it now? I'm going to say no, because we're not going to be receiving any transactions immediately. We're going to fund it ourselves with Lightning. So I'll say we'll do later. So here we go. We have a main screen here. Pretty simple, nice and easy to navigate. You've got a balance up top in sats. You've got send, receive, and scan if you're scanning a QR code. There is a little notification saying, hey, this is beta currently. This will be different when it's just easily accessible from the App Store, but it does give you a disclaimer there so you know. And then down at the bottom, you've got wallet, contacts and options. So we're on the wallet screen. The contacts section, we will dive into this later, which is super awesome with the Nostr integration. And then options gives you a lot of different settings here. So you can go to general and like the display colors and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. Change your language. This is your mint management where you can add other mints, and we'll get into that later in the video. Your security, so pins, delete pins, create backup tokens. This is backing up your wallet, so on and so forth. Privacy, you can hide your total balance and your latest transactions if you choose using those toggle switches, and then just some basic about us, donations, or delete transaction history. So there's your rundown of what this is. And now we're going to go ahead and start loading our wallet. So if you are using an eCash wallet for the first time and you're not directly receiving eCash, then what you can do is fund your own wallet with a Lightning transaction, assuming that you have some Bitcoin in a Lightning wallet. And we'll make that assumption now. But if not, please do go back and take a look at my Lightning wallet tutorial that I've included in the show notes. So from the main screen here, from the wallet screen, I'm going to hit receive. And we have two options here, paste and redeem eCash. Can't do that yet because nobody's sending us any, but we can create a Lightning invoice and receive eCash from a mint by paying a Lightning invoice. So I'm going to choose that second option. So it says, how many Satoshis or eCash equivalent would you like to receive? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask for 10,000 Satoshis. Okay. And I'm going to hit continue. So this is going to create a Lightning invoice. This could be scanned by any Lightning wallet. So if I had somebody in front of me that wanted to send me a Lightning transaction, I could get that deposited immediately into my eCash wallet. So this does have regular Lightning functionality as well. However, it does give me the option to pay this from a wallet within my phone as well. So if somebody wanted to scan this, they could. There's also a copy button to copy the invoice and then paste it into a message, whatever. And then down at the very bottom, once this notification goes away, there's a share invoice button, which will give me a list of apps I could share it through. But I'm going to pay with my Lightning wallet. And by the way, I just copied this. I could go over to the Lightning wallet and paste it in as well, but I'm just going to hit this button. It's going to give me a list of, holy geez, I got a lot of wallets in here. Anyways, it gives me a big list. I'm going to go with Blink today. That link for this tutorial will be down below. But here's Blink, and it's going to automatically open up my Lightning invoice. Okay. Now, I just backed out of that so that you can see if I went to this wallet and I hit send, I could also just paste in the invoice and then hit next. Nonetheless, it says, hey, where do you want this coming from? Which account? Again, that will vary depending on the wallet you're dealing with. But nonetheless, hey, it looks like 10,000 sats has been requested. I'll hit next. That looks all good. It'll figure out the Lightning fee that I need to pay to send that. It takes a second. Oh, look at that. 0 sats. Fantastic. Confirm payment. There we go. Payment has been sent successfully. All right, so I now have a transaction that went out of my wallet. Let's check back. Oh, there we go. 10,000 Satoshi have been minted. So we're going to go back to dashboard and see what that looks like. Well, I've got 10,000 sats now sitting in my eCash wallet, and I funded it very simply with a regular Lightning transaction. It's at this point that we can start experiencing the benefits of eCash. So what if I want to send somebody eCash? Well, we'll go through those steps. I do have a second phone here with the same application opened up, separate wallet, obviously, and we're going to transact between the two. So here in the wallet that we just set up, I'm going to hit the send button on the main screen, and I'm going to choose send eCash. It says, well, how much would you like to send? Let's try sending 1,000 Satoshis. And then hit continue. So it says add a memo if you want. We'll just say test so that we can see what that looks like. Okay, great. So this gives us a payment overview. Sending eCash. The mint that we're using is the eNuts beta. We're sending 1,000 Satoshis. The balance afterwards will be 9,000. And there's a memo that says test. You can also do coin selection. We will take a look at that momentarily. That'll be kind of more the advanced stuff. But we can now hit create token. So this brings up a QR code. So what is going on here? That seems a little bit backwards compared to what we're used to with Bitcoin. The interesting part about eCash is that the information is the money. And this is done in a roundabout way where you can't just go ahead and create multiple copies of it and have it be worth the same. The mint itself, when somebody goes to redeem this, it will destroy this 1,000 Satoshi and redeem it for newly created eCash. So this is like a one-time kind of redemption thing. Whoever redeems it, including myself in the same wallet, it will be destroyed, and the mint will create 1,000 new sats in the form of eCash to replace it. So this is how it's working. So this information is the money that I have. So I can either have somebody scan it, which is effectively them taking the information, destroying these tokens, and having new tokens minted into their wallet, or I can share it via a text app or copy the token as just text, and I can send that to anybody, and anybody in any with any eCash wallet will be able to paste in that information and redeem it. But let's look what it looks like if I simply scan using another wallet. So I'm going to take this other wallet here. I'm going to say scan. That will open up my camera. And then it shows me, hey, you claimed 1,000 Satoshis. That's it. So I can X out of it. And I can say, eCash, look, just now I received 1,000 eCash or 1,000 sats in the form of eCash. So it's just a simple scan and it redeems immediately. If I back out, I can see that my balance has been adjusted. Now, let's say I wanted to do this in another way, in that I'm going to send the actual text. Okay, so I'm going to say send eCash. Maybe I'll do 500 sats and hit continue. We'll call this test 2 and we'll hit continue. So here's all the information. Hey, I'm sending eCash from this mint, 500 sats, 8,500 Satoshi. Memo is test 2. I'm not going to do the coin selection right now. I'll hit create token. Okay, so this gives us, again, the information or the representation of those tokens that can be redeemed by somebody else. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to copy the information. It is a string of digits that I'm then going to send in a message that will be received on this phone. And I'm going to copy that information. We'll see what it looks like once we paste it. So I'll do the send of the information offline, but just off the camera, but you can just use any messaging app, anything. But if you post it publicly, any person can redeem it. All right. So we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I copied the eCash token to my clipboard and it auto detected it. So just so you know, you can actually just, by copying the invoice and opening the wallet, it will detect that you have something. But let's say it didn't do that. Let's see what that looks like. Just know that you could hit accept and it would auto deposit the amount. So I'm going to hit cancel, but then I'm going to hit receive. And this is where it says paste and redeem eCash. That's what we want. If somebody sends us a cashew token in the form of text, that's what we want. So we're going to hit that. And that pastes again from my clipboard and says, hey, you just got 500 sats. And we can see the adjusted balance. Back on the original wallet, if I back out, I can see again my wallet balance has been reduced by 500 sats. So we've now been able to send to this secondary wallet in 2 different ways, by them scanning a QR code and by them pasting and redeeming. So we've kind of actually seen both sides of it. We've seen the send and the receive here. Now, again, we showed sending and receiving via QR codes and pasting text, but there is one more super awesome way that you can actually pay people. Let's go and revisit this contacts tab down at the bottom. So if I hit this, it says, hey, contacts in Nostr. The Nostr implementation enables seamless synchronization of your contacts without the need for you to enter your private key as we generate a new one for you. Your data is displayed using the public key while the new private key encrypts and decrypts your messages. So I'm going to hit the check mark here. And it says add your NPub. So you can paste your NPub from Nostr right here. And let's just do that right now. So here's Amethyst. And so I've got my Nostr here. I'm going to go into my profile. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to my profile here. And I'm going to copy my NPub. I'm going to hit the copy button right there. So I've got everything I need. That's it. Depending on the Nostr client you're using, it might be a little bit different, but you need this value that says NPub and a whole bunch of digits. Great. So I'm going to go here. So I hit paste and it says, hey, look, here you go. And it will start to populate all of the information here with your Nostr contacts and everything. Now, I did find that this took a little while to load. The guys that are working on eNuts tell me that this is still kind of a work in progress, but it's super cool that you can import your contacts here and then send to them. So I want to show you what it looks like on my other phone because that one has synced up a little bit better. But open this up, I go to contacts. Here you can see actually all of the information, all of the actual contacts here. So I can see, well, there's the eNuts team, there's Steve Lupka, there's Lynn Alden, there's Dredd. Again, there's Eric Kaysen. So there's a whole bunch of people here that are all people that I follow, and it populates all of their information as I scroll down. And so I can send any of these people eCash. And so I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to maybe put a little note out on Nostr and say, hey, I'm looking to send some eCash. Who has the eNuts wallet and would be willing to receive some? So I'm going to jump on to Nostr and put a note and we'll see who responds. All right, so Walker was kind enough to say that he would download eNuts and give this a try. So I'm now again going to navigate to my contacts here. I will look for Walker in here. I think I saw him down at the bottom before. Let's do some scrolling here. Okay, so there's Walker right here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit send. And then I'm going to designate an amount. So I'm going to say 1,000 sats, and I will hit continue. And then I'll just say, yo, man. Good enough, sure. Okay, so there's our transaction, sending 1,000 sats, my remaining balance, where it's going, it's sending via this mint to Walker. And yeah, so I'll hit send eCash. Says it's sending via Nostr. So it's sent. Now it's just up to Walker to basically copy that transaction and then open up his eNuts and redeem. So we'll go back to the dashboard. Now this does show a reduced balance, but it may not necessarily be spent yet. So it does give me the opportunity to say, check if it's been spent. It says token is pending. So he hasn't yet redeemed it. If he doesn't redeem it, I can always claim it back by saying claim token. So that money is not lost, but it is there just in case. The other thing I can do is I can hit show QR code, and then again, somebody could scan that and redeem that token here. So there's a variety of different things you can do it. If I hit claim token, it will just go back into my wallet. Either way, we'll wait for Walker to redeem, and we'll see if he had a decent time of doing it. he was able to jump into his DMs, and I will show you what he saw. Basically, he received this message, which lets him know that I've sent him eCash. And then when he copied the string of digits down below and then opened up his eCash wallet, he saw this screen in which he was able to redeem and then see his balance. So we've now seen the various ways in which you can transact, send, and receive funds. But what if we actually want to remove funds from our eCash or our eNuts wallet in this case and get it out to something other than a Xiaomi and eCash option? How do we do that? Well, it's as simple as using a regular Lightning transaction. So you're going to want, again, a Lightning wallet that you're going to use. So we'll just use Blink again as an example here. And all you're going to do is you just need a Lightning invoice. So here in my Lightning wallet, I'm going to receive Bitcoin. And I need to choose an amount that I want to receive. So let's do in sats. I would like to receive, let's say 1,000 sats. Okay, I'm going to hit set amount. That's going to create my Lightning invoice. All right, I can then copy said invoice, and I can head over to my eNuts wallet. And once I'm in here, I can go ahead, I can say send. And then I'm going to choose pay Lightning invoice. So I'm going to tap that, and then it'll say choose the receiver of the payment. I can choose from my address book. I can choose from a Lightning invoice or LN URL. So I have one copied right now. I could scan a QR code. So if I had a Lightning wallet in front of me to scan, that's fine. Or I can do a multi-mint swap. So pick another mint from your trusted list as the payment receiver. And we will look in multi-mints and all that kind of stuff when we get into some of the more advanced stuff. But for now, I just want to paste a Lightning invoice. So I'm going to paste that and paste it in here. And it should read, hey, look, you're going to be sending an invoice. You're going to send 1,000 sats. But there's also a Lightning fee that is 10 sats. Not really breaking the bank here. That seems fine to me. I'm going to hit continue. It gives me a summary, estimated fees of around 10 sats. And my balance afterwards is down there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with this. I'm going to hit cash out. It will send a Lightning transaction. And off it goes. Okay, so payment was successful. I can see that it ended up actually costing me 36 sats. Whoa, really breaking the bank here. I think that's maybe a penny or so. So anyways, back to the dashboard. There we go. We're sitting just shy of 7,500 sats. Okay, fantastic. All right, so I'm now going to jump over to my Lightning wallet. And I can see that I have received 1,000 sats on this end. So I've successfully withdrawn from eCash into the Lightning wallet of my choice. So let's talk about having multiple mints or using different mints. When we started up this app, we were prompted to add the default mint, the eNuts mint that is in the background, basically driving everything we see on the screen here, but you can use more than a single mint. So how do you go about adding other mints? There's the easy way, and then there's the manual way. So the easy way would be to receive eCash from another individual that isn't on the same mint as you. So what does that look like? Well, here I've got another eCash wallet called Minibits. And this eCash wallet has some funds in it, and they're actually on two different mints that are not, and neither of these two mints are the mint that this eNuts wallet is on. So I'm just going to send from this Minibits wallet. I'm going to share an eCash token for 100 sats, and I'm going to hit done. Oh, I guess I'll call it test. Okay, and then it does ask me which mint I want to send from, but either way, I'm going to see an eCash token on the screen. Great. So just as we saw before, you can scan and redeem. So I'm going to do that with this wallet. Now keep in mind, again, this is a different mint. So I'm going to go ahead. And just from my main screen, I'm going to hit the scan button so that I can redeem this eCash token in front of me. I'll allow the camera. Now it says, do you want to trust this mint? I'm getting 100 Satoshis from this legend.lnbits.com. If you choose no, the token will not be claimed. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to trust this mint for the time being. And hey, I just claimed 100 Satoshis. I can go back to my dashboard and I can see I just received 100. Now it will just be a uniform amount sitting here at the top of my screen. I don't see it designated and split into different mints. If I do go into my options and my settings, I can go into mint management. I do see that designation. Hey, I've got about 7.5K in this eNuts mint, and then I've got 100 sats in the legend.lnbits mint. Okay, so I can see the differentiation. I can go in and I can look at all of the details. I can even give the mints custom names, and I can set defaults. Which mint do I typically want to use? All that kind of stuff. So all of this is here, and we also see something called multi-mint swap, and we'll take a look at that momentarily. Same thing with the Legend LN-Bits one. We get all the same information, and we have ways to do backups and all of that. Fantastic. Okay, the time has come. Let's do some multi-mint swaps here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go into our options. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go to Mint Management, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose, let's do the eNuts beta because it has more in it. And then we're going to go down to multi-mint swap. Okay, it says select a mint as a payment receiver. So basically it says out of the other mints that are in your wallet, where do you want this money going? So I'm going to choose obviously the other one, Legend LN-Bits. And how much do I want to send over? Let's send 1,000 sats. Okay. At this point, there's a button that says estimate fee because this is a Lightning transaction because we're going between mints. Okay. Well, it says total including fees 1,000 sats. So it looks like it, it says there's an asterisk. Fees may occur, so an estimated fee is added, and any overpaid fees will be refunded. So it looks like there may not be a Lightning transaction fee in this particular transaction, as we shall see. We'll hit continue. Here's our I guess overview of what is happening. And just to kind of show another advanced feature that is available during this, let's take a look at what coin selection actually looks like and examine what it does. So again, we're just swapping between mints, but this would apply if you were sending a transaction to anybody. Okay, so if you hit coin selection, it actually shows, wow, we've got a whole bunch of different coins. Now, if you're familiar with how Bitcoin works and what UTXOs are, this normally would be a huge problem, right? You'd be looking at this saying, oh, geez, what are my fees going to be? Because when you have lots of pieces of Bitcoin that you're sending simultaneously, that adds to the fees because it's more data. That is not the case in eCash. In fact, it can be desirable from a privacy perspective to actually have more smaller pieces, more smaller tokens than larger ones. Not that what I'll say here is that your privacy is very, very good. But if you were to have a massive, massive token, then it may become a little bit easier to discern who is who. Okay, not for certain, but with the it would depend on the people in the mint and who's what. So if an individual funds a mint with a much larger transaction than anybody else is transacting with, and then sends out a large transaction, then it might be easier to decipher that. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But what you can do here is I'm looking to spend 1,000 Satoshis. How might I be able to use this to benefit myself to help with my privacy? Well, what I can do is I can actually contribute far more than I need to this transaction and get back change, and it will actually break down my larger tokens into smaller pieces. Not entirely necessary, but I'll just show it as an example of what you can do. So I'm going to select this one for 1,024 sats. this one for the same size, this one for the same size. So I'm going to use a few of my bigger pieces and see if I can't break them down a little bit. So I'm contributing over 3,000 sats to a 1,000 sat transaction, more than I need to, and I'm going to get change of just over 2,000 sats back. So I'm going to hit confirm. It gives me the summary of what I'm doing, what my change is going to be, and I can hit swap now. All right, so it says payment successful, 1,000 sats went out, 24 sats Lightning transaction fee, and the total including the fee is there. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I can now see, again, not much change in my balance because I was self-transferring there, but it comes denoted as a swap, and there we are. If we go into our mints, mint management, we can now see that we've just reallocated some funds to another mint. And you can very easily do this if you're looking to not use a particular mint anymore. So nonetheless, we've now been able to swap between mints, and we added a mint simply by receiving a payment from somebody outside of our existing mint. Next, let's dive into manually adding a mint. Okay, so let's look at manually adding mints as you please. This is a website called mintindex.gandalf.com. It's just kind of an aggregation of a few different testing mints that people have been putting together, but it'll get us by and kind of show the point of what I'm trying to get across here. Side note, don't necessarily trust any mints. Just kind of assume it's such early days that some of these might go down, and you may have funds inaccessible. So just keep that in mind as you're playing here. And again, as with anything custodial, just only allocate funds that you may be willing to lose. Nonetheless, there's a bunch of different mints on here. I'm going to click into, say, this one right here, and all that we really need. The information that we need is this URL information right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to send it over to myself in a messenger app, and then I'll copy it into my clipboard, and then we'll use it within this app. So we'll just jump ahead here in a second. Okay, within the app, I'm going to go down to options in the bottom right. We'll go to mint management. We'll go to the plus sign in the bottom right, and then we're going to paste in what we've copied. So at this point it says, hey, mint added. Do you want to receive eCash from it now? You can say yes or will do later. I'm not anticipating receiving any funds through it, but yeah, so we'll just leave that there. We'll hit will do later. And now I can see if I go into mint management, I've got 3 different mints. The one that I just added just doesn't have any funds currently. So if you do want to add a particular mint, that is the process that you can go through. The final thing I want to touch on here is the current state of backups in eNuts and what will be coming down the line in terms of backups. So currently, if you go into options at the bottom right, and then you go into security, you can see there's an option that says create backup token. And when you tap on that, it says copy the token and keep it in a safe place. And it's going to give you a string of digits. And this is actually just effectively a copy of all of the tokens within your existing wallet. And when you go into any other eNuts or Cashew wallet, it will simply redeem those Cashew tokens and be available in the wallet of choice, just like we've kind of done as we pasted in text to redeem a Cashew token previously. So this is where you would do that. Again, you want to be careful because this sensitive information is basically a copy of all of the funds in your wallet, and once redeemed, you will not be able to get those back. However, coming soon, eNuts and I believe some of these other implementations will have a familiar backup phrase like with a regular Bitcoin wallet where you have your 12 or 24 words. I'm not sure which one they're going with there, but you can expect to see that in the future. But for the time being, you can basically back up this token somewhere safe where eventually you'll be able to just redeem it if you need to. If I'm not mistaken though, the one thing you need to consider right now is that if you do this, it is a backup token for the funds it's like a snapshot of your balance at a certain point in time. So if you receive more money into your wallet, then you're going to need to make a new, or if you're transacting within your wallet, you're going to need to make a backup of a new token afterwards. So for instance, I go through, I save my backup token, but then I receive more funds or I spend some funds out. Well, the old token that I have is not going to be valid. So it's best to then go in and make a new backup. So it's not ideal in its current state. That will change, if I'm not mistaken, when they implement the 12-word seed phrase, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. This is all very new and it is rapidly changing, but that is kind of how backups currently work as is. So I want to wrap here with some final thoughts. Obviously, we discussed trade-offs at the beginning of this video, I don't have an opinion either way of what somebody should do, other than they should be informed of what they're actually doing, right? You should know that you're entering a custodial relationship when you use these, and you should be cognizant of, I am trading this off for the purpose of obtaining privacy for whatever amounts I'm comfortable with for whatever period of time I'm comfortable with. As long as people are cognizant of that and they're making their own decisions, then I don't think anybody has any right to tell somebody what to do either way. And luckily, you don't. So make your own decisions and make sure that you are cognizant of the trade-offs. Now, in terms of kind of that scale of fully custodial and fully transparent, meaning that you have zero privacy, to fully non-custodial and fully private, where does this sit on that scale? Well, okay, on the bad end of the scale, the worst of the worst would be leaving your money on a KYC'd exchange. I think we can all agree that's kind of the worst place for your money, because they have all of your information, they have all of your money, and they could rug you, and you have zero privacy in the process. A step away from that would be something more along the lines of Wallet of Satoshi or Blink, where there may be some identifying markers there, but it's not so cut and dry, but it's still very custodial, and there's still probably some information leaking about you. You don't quite have the privacy benefits you would think. I guess the other benefit there is that the fees will be pretty low using something like Wallet of Satoshi or Blink versus an exchange if you go to send out, whatever they're going to charge you in fees to move that. A step better, I think, would now be eCash. And so eCash, you don't benefit from anything in terms of custodians, right? You are equally custodial as you were as the exchange, as the Wallet of Satoshi or Blink, but now you're now benefiting from the extreme privacy benefits of Xiaomi and eCash, the instant transactions that are free. And kind of the hiding in the crowd of transacting from mint to mint if you do execute a Lightning transaction. So this is where eNuts would lie. And then a step better than this, with perhaps some privacy trade-offs, would be a self-custodial automated Lightning Network wallet. I would say something like Phoenix, because that one it's your own custody. There's a Lightning service provider in the back end that kind of does all of the hard work in and around channels, and is probably my go-to option in terms of Lightning wallets. That's what I use all the time. And then beyond that is running your own node and setting up your own channels and all of that kind of stuff. So there's this scale that we're going through here, and I think that eCash sits between a Wallet of Satoshi and Blink and a Phoenix, with kind of trade-offs for each end of that spectrum. So that's kind of where I see this. It's useful in its own right, and it's a lot of fun to play with. And I think it'll get better and easier, but just be aware that there are trade-offs taking place in exchange for the privacy and speed of transaction and low fees that you're benefiting from. Anyways, with that, I would love to hear your thoughts and your experiences with eNuts. So let me know in the comments down below. Did you play around with eNuts? Have you used eCash before? Did this help in your understanding of what it even is? And did you run into any snags? Was there anything that that maybe can be improved or that you'd like to see out of wallets like this? I look forward to seeing what you have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, share. All those things help a ton. And that little like button, it's just right below the screen here. If you tap that, it really does help a lot. So please do. If you want to help the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors. They're all in the show notes down below, along with all the links to the relevant stuff I talked about in the video. And if you really liked what you saw, you can head over to my website, btcsessions.ca. There you'll find a whole bunch of free information to help you along your Bitcoin journey. You can also book me for one-on-one tutorials if you need help and hand-holding through anything that you're dealing with in Bitcoin. And you can also look up my upcoming in-person workshops. And finally, you can hit the tip button and you can go ahead and shoot off some sats. If you really like, it will head over to my BTC Pay page and you can shoot off $1 or $2 or buy me a coffee or whatever you like. Anyways, with that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
HodlHodl the Bitcoin.